He's back. All right, let's talk about this dog a little bit. Let's talk about what's going on with this dog, because he's a good example of what happens with this system. Okay. One, we're breaking the patterns on him. Okay, and again, one of the biggest problems with police work, when you guys asked me earlier about how do you get a dog, away from the equipment fixation and so on, that's all really a matter of, that's a product of pattern. And when you first started out, and almost everybody does this, it's just the way police work, or most police dog training is done. You send your dog, you stay in the same spot, you call your dog out, and it's all about a pattern. And so the dog don't even have to think about you, first of all. What he's doing is he knows exactly where you're going to be. He could be blind and still find you, okay? Because you send him from you stand in the same spot you send him from. What we're doing is breaking those patterns. What's the other thing that we're doing? And again, I'm just going to talk about this dog because it's fresh and it's a good example of what's going on. What else are we doing that is breaking the patterns with this dog? Yeah, we're working on a clear-headed dog. But why is he clear-headed? Why is he more clear-headed right now than he was at the beginning of yesterday?
Because there's less conflict?
Less conflict. What's happened is we've eliminated, with the remote collar, we have eliminated the conflict between the dog and the handler. When you eliminate that, then the dog can focus on what his real job is, which is the decoy. And the interesting part with this dog, and the reason I use this, and this is not the most common thing that occurs, but it's not unusual, okay, is that his bite has actually gotten better and harder and deeper because we've eliminated that conflict. You see it? You see how his mind is starting to work now? How simple that is? And now, because he's clear and he's not worried about the handler and this pattern that he has to perform, he's actually starting to understand that this is a job now. And he doesn't have to worry about the handler kicking his ass or coming in and trying to compete with him for the prey or the rest of that stuff. And that's why he's actually, the more we work him, even though we're juicing him, what's happening? This dog is actually biting harder, deeper, and he's got more purpose to what he's doing. At least that's what I'm seeing.
He pranced back to me happy. I mean, there was no doubt.
It wasn't a prance. See, it's a whole different thing. You gotta get away from the human stuff. Okay? It wasn't a prance. It wasn't a happiness. It was, okay, what's next? Whole different thought process. All right? And that's why now it's business. Instead of happy and play and let's do it, or I'm going to kick your ass, now it's business. And so that's why you're seeing he's not coming back, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm proud of myself. That's bullshit. What it is, he's coming back and saying, yeah, what's next, buddy? And as we start to progress over the next today and tomorrow, you're going to see a whole different dog by the time you're done. You won't even recognize that dog from when you started, because his whole focus is going to be, what's my next job? And that's where you see now the response coming back is faster. Did he get a reward for that? No, there was no reward, was there? I don't do rewards. Did you have to tell him he was a good boy? Did you have to coax him back with a high-pitched voice and the voice inflection crap? No. And watch, by the end of tomorrow, that dog's going to come running back to you almost full speed. Okay? Not because he's afraid, not because I'm juicing him, not because I'm blasting his brains out to make him come back faster. I'm giving him a working purpose to come back faster. I'm using what the dog has in him to do this job. Does that make sense to everybody? So what you're going to see is his abilities. Remember yesterday when I talked about we suppress the dog's potential and their abilities by the type of training that we do. What you're seeing now is that box starting to open up. And his genetics are starting to leak out now. They're starting to come out and manifest in the way that you want for a police dog. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Starting to get a little bit more clear? Okay. All right. This is it.
Have you got your box?